I'm 81 years old, and there is something I have carried inside me for over 30 years that I have never said out loud to anyone. Not to my children, not to my closest friends, not even to myself in any honest way until very recently. And I think the reason I never said it is because saying it out loud would have made it real. It would have meant accepting that the biggest mistake of my life was not something that happened to me. It was something I chose. My name is Margaret. I am 81 years old, and I am the woman who left a good man. Not a perfect man, but a good one. And I have spent the better part of 3 decades trying to convince myself there was a real reason I walked away, that I was right, that I deserved more, that life had something bigger waiting for me just around the corner. I am 81 now, and I can tell you with complete honesty that corner never came. I met Harold when I was 24 years old. It was at a small gathering at my cousin's house, nothing special, nothing dramatic. He was standing near the window holding a cup of tea, not trying to impress anyone, not telling loud stories or commanding the room. He was just quietly there. And something about that drew me to him in a way I didn't fully understand at the time. He had this stillness about him, a calm that I mistook for many years for a lack of ambition. We married 2 years later. I was 26. He was 29, and in the beginning, it was a good life, a simple life. Harold worked steadily. He was reliable, present, and kind in a way that very few people are truly kind, not occasionally, not when it was convenient, but consistently, day after day, in the small, invisible ways that don't make for exciting stories, but that hold a life together. He remembered things, little things. He remembered that I didn't like the crust on my bread when I was tired. He remembered the name of my childhood friend I mentioned once in passing. He would leave the kitchen light on for me if I came home late, even if he had already gone to bed. These are the things I remember now. These are the things I couldn't see the value of then. Because when you are in your 30s and the world around you seems to be moving fast and bright and full of possibility, quiet kindness does not feel like enough. It feels like settling. It feels like a consolation prize for a woman who is too afraid to reach for something more. I remember the exact feeling. It sat in my chest like a low hum that never fully went away, a restlessness, a sense that my life was too ordinary, that Harold was too ordinary, that somewhere out there was a version of my life that was more vivid, more passionate, more alive. I couldn't have told you what that life looked like exactly, but I was certain I wasn't living it. I started pulling away slowly. These things never happen all at once. First, it was small distances, a little more silence at dinner, a little less reaching for his hand. Then came the conversations I stopped having with him, the feelings I stopped sharing, the wall that I was building brick by brick without ever fully admitting to myself that I was building it. By the time our youngest child was in school, I had already decided in some unspoken part of myself that I was going to leave. I just hadn't found the courage to say it yet. Or maybe it wasn't courage I was looking for. Maybe I was waiting for him to do something wrong, something I could point to, something that would make the story cleaner. But Harold didn't give me that. He just kept being Harold, patient, steady, quietly loving a woman who had already begun leaving him in her heart long before she left in any other way. When I finally asked for the divorce, I was 44 years old. I remember the look on his face. He didn't shout. He didn't argue. He sat very still for a long moment, and then he looked at me and asked, very quietly, if there was anything he could have done differently. And I told him no, because that was the truth. There was nothing wrong with Harold. There was something restless and unsatisfied inside of me, and I'd spent years placing that feeling at his feet as though he had put it there. He accepted it with a dignity that I did not deserve. I moved out that autumn. The children were old enough to understand what was happening, though not old enough to fully forgive it. My daughter didn't speak to me properly for almost 2 years. My son was quieter about his hurt, which in some ways was harder to bear. I told myself they would come to understand. I told myself I was showing them that a woman could choose herself. I told myself a great many things in those years. And life did continue. I built something new. I had my independence, my own small apartment, my own routines. I dated a man for 3 years who was exciting in exactly the way Harold had never been. Unpredictable, charming, full of grand gestures and empty promises. He left without much explanation when I was 51. I dated once more after that, briefly, and then I simply stopped. The more I had left my marriage to find, I am still not entirely sure what it was. A feeling, perhaps. A sense of being fully alive, fully chosen, fully seen in some blazing way. But feelings like that, I have come to understand, do not live in other people. They live or they don't live inside yourself. And I carried the same restlessness with me out of my marriage that I had carried within it. It did not disappear when Harold did. It just had no one left to blame. I heard through mutual friends some years after the divorce that Harold had remarried. A quiet woman, they said, someone patient and warm. I was told they were happy together, that she appreciated him in the ways I never had. I remember hearing that and smiling and telling whoever told me that I was glad for him, and I was. I genuinely was. But I also went home that evening and sat in my kitchen for a very long time without turning the lights on. My children are adults now with children of their own. They love me, I know they do. But there is a particular kind of loneliness that lives in a house where you are the grandmother who is visited, not the grandmother who is the center of something. Harold's wife, I am told, is very close with her grandchildren. They spend weekends at her home. I hear these things and I do not feel bitterness anymore. I feel something quieter and harder to name. A recognition, perhaps. What I have come to understand, sitting in this chair in my 81st year, is that Harold was not a man I outgrew. He was a man I failed to see. I was so busy looking past him towards some imagined horizon that I could not recognize what was right in front of me. He was the kind of man who would have grown old with me gracefully, who would have been here in the evenings, who would have remembered which tea I liked when I was tired. And I traded that for a restlessness that never resolved itself into anything. I traded 30 years of companionship for 30 years of searching, and then 30 years of quiet. I am not telling you this so that you will feel sorry for me. I am past the point of wanting pity. I am telling you this because I am 81 years old, and I have had a very long time to think, and this is what I have come to believe with everything I have left in me. The life that is already in front of you, the steady one, the quiet one, the one that doesn't shimmer with excitement every moment. that life is not a consolation. It is the thing itself. It is what you will reach for when everything else has passed. And if you are lucky enough to have someone in your life who loves you the way Harold loved me, without drama, without conditions, without keeping score, then please, do not do what I did. Do not look past them. Do not convince yourself that ordinary devotion is something less than extraordinary, because I am 81 years old, and the house is very quiet, and I know now, in a way I cannot unknow, that enough was always enough. I was just too young and too restless to see it, and by the time I could see it clearly, it was already gone.